5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is OffPlanet Radio.
Part 2 of our interview. We have on the line with us several people tonight. You just heard the first segment with our guest, quantum healer Chris Kehler, and Chris is still on the line with us. And for me, it is sometimes the most difficult and yet the most rewarding conversations that I have with people who have been involved with extraterrestrial contact. However, people define that, because many people have different definitions of what is extraterrestrial contact. Some people actually have had wonderful times with them, and other people it's been quite horrific. I think our guest tonight is able to both quantify and qualify why he needed to seek help from a healer in order to get out from underneath this. You heard us talk a little bit about alien implants, and that's a subject that both creeps me out and really fascinates me, and I'm not sure which is worse. Anyway, I want to welcome to the line on this hour our guest Whisper. Welcome.
Hey Randy, how you doing?
It's good to have you on, my friend, and you are, among friends here, because this is a subject I take deadly serious, and I have over the years talked to a number of people who have had interactions. Let's start by you giving us an outline of your own experiences, where they began, what they were, how they manifested.
Well, things kind of opened up for me all within a few days. Basically, I started hearing whispers, just voices, but it was very light, way in the background. And then all of a sudden, I'm outside cutting the grass, and I'm hearing full-on voices like it's someone talking right beside me. And I'm like, the first thing I thought is, man, we're going to use this to save the world. But it scared me. It scared me to death because I had no idea what it was. Within a day or so, I was watching a movie on an older style tube TV, 36-inch TV. It was the latest and the greatest of its time, 12 years ago or whatever. And something told me to hit pause on the TV, and there was a building paused, and it said, see if you can move it around. So what I did is I just focused on it and started bending lines on the TV, just with thought. Mm-hmm. And someone said, "Oh, I can't even remember what they were impressed or whatever, whoever the voice was." That night I went to sleep, and something started to. It felt like put a screw through 3 of my teeth. Okay, and. The next day, I tried the pause technique on the TV again, and when I paused it, it uses a photon gun hitting a shadow mask to create a picture. The old style TVs.
Yeah. The old
Anything
CRTs.
between me, exactly. Between me and the TV, I could see them, and I could see their entire facial outline on the TV screen when I hit pause on...
in the scan lines of the TV image.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it was a really weird situation. Something attacked whatever they were in my bedroom and stabbed their eyes out. Or was stabbing them in the eyes. And they looked like grays, except one sort of had a little bit more of a hammerheady look, not exactly like the TV style grays, but 3.5 feet tall. And something attacked them, and they asked me to raise my hands, and I knew nothing about energy or energy work. I've taken several healing modalities since then, just trying to figure out how I could help myself. But back then, they asked me to hold my hands up, and I could feel them push their face right against my hand with their eyeballs in the palms of my hands. looking for some kind of healing. And I don't know if that's why they put the screws through my teeth or what. But that's how it started for me. And then
let me back you up a minute here.
Sure.
The screws in the teeth, are we talking this is actual physical, or is this happening
I feel it physically, the threads going through the teeth, which obviously isn't going to happen in a physical way because it would bust your teeth, I think. But I could feel them screwing into the through the back 3 teeth on the top teeth on the left-hand side and right up into the jawbone. And it wasn't like a zzz with a drill. It was like someone doing it almost with a screwdriver. It was done very slowly, like they were tuning something. And it wasn't really painful. And I was kind of thinking, well, should I get out of bed and run? Or is this just too cool of an experience to, because it didn't really hurt. It was just an intrusion into my personal being. But I was kind of in a headspace at the time that I just thought it was kind of cool that they'd even show that kind of an interest. A little while later, I went, at that point though, I did seek medical help because voices were coming in left, right, and center once those screws went into my teeth.
Right.
And I was like just overwhelmed. I thought, oh my God, I'm nuts. First thing I said, I actually booked myself into a crisis center in the city and got out of Dodge. Saw a psychiatrist there, said, you're for sure suffering from a psychosis, and we're going to put you on antipsychotics. So I went on antipsychotics, and the voices drifted back down into a whisper. Got to a point where I could, function normally again, and then something said, I want you to learn energy work, and they dragged me to a particular website of a guy who teaches astral travel and stuff like that, and he had a really interesting and easy way of learning how to maneuver and work with energy. And as soon as I did that, something popped full on, and I was hearing voices, and I was getting attacked, and I was getting stabbed by things and feeling knives going through me. And it was like I awoke a bunch of stuff that was in there that hadn't gone through the proper clearing. And I was on an energy high for about 3 days, and then stuff started jumping off of people into me because I was a hot spot. And I was working with this woman, and we were on a 2-hour car ride from a city just outside of Winnipeg, heading back into Winnipeg, and we both just felt terrible. And I looked down, and from my stomach to her stomach was about it was twice the thickness of a fire hose of green energy that was visible with the naked eye.
Like a plasma tube?
Yeah.
Okay.
And all kinds of like tentacles firing off of it and all kinds of stuff. And as it turned out, I found out later that as a child she had practiced black magic and witchcraft and Satan worship and done all kinds of black magic on people in her town in the East Coast. And I figured that was whatever was in me doing battle with whatever she had picked up in her youth. And it turned into just like a major battle royal using our bodies as a as a conduit, or it was
kind of like
battlefield, using us as the battlefield, and things just got nuts from there. I was able to work for about a year, and I was working at a store where I could take a customer and then actually go and lie down for an hour if I wanted. It was selling beds, and yeah.
Was it those ones that you set buttons on to make the density different? Was it?
Yeah, we have all that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I have one of those.
I can't even remember what it's.
Yeah, the sleep numbers.
Sleep number bed, right?
Yes.
You're a 78. You'll sleep well tonight. But anyways, over that next year, they started just drilling the heck out of me, and they almost set it up where they could get me to. They'd work a pattern on me, and I remember they did it so often that I remember it being 12 or 13 steps to get me to rage out and go into this just outburst of anger and flare energy. Fight psychically is what they were teaching me.
let me get a time frame on this. How old were you at the onset?
33.
Okay.
I'm 44 now.
Okay.
Okay. So it's
That's
like
interesting. 33. Wow.
Yeah, is when it started happening. And so since then, there's been all kinds of different contacts or voices claiming to be definitely Zetas, and I can douse and see if they're there, and they're there. If a reptilian jumps into me, my solar plexus, the breastplate, actually pops out. Okay, I can say reptilian out, hit my leg, and it kicks it right out, because it's like what Chris was saying. Once it's recognized and you ask it to leave, it has to leave. I've had voices saying, I'm Arcturian, and I've been indwelling in you since you were born. Same with Anunnaki. So it's just like a myriad of, I don't know. It's like they're portaling in and out of me, basically. And then I'm also noticing that just walking down the street, I'll start picking up imprints of people, almost seeing them getting sucked out of their body into mine.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, if it's a device or just being energetically magnetic or what, but it's, I don't know. It's just a very weird situation. But anyways, I've seen so many healers over this. One was like $600 for a session. One was worked with me for a long time and was $85 an hour, doing all kinds of different stuff. I saw Chris for about 5 minutes, and it almost brought it to a standstill with one of his tools. He just threw it at me, said, "I don't have time to talk to you. Take this and work with it." One of the neutralization rings, it was a little 6-inch ring with a bunch of pins on it. On my drive home, I sat on it, and it sucked probably 80% of it out. Just like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been pretty neat. But it's almost like they're passing me around a little bit. It almost feels like it's been set up. I'm not a conspiracy theorist in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't see myself ever wearing a tinfoil hat.
Oh, that's good, because that's my job around here.
Okay. No offense.
No.
But it's almost like they still run patterns to get me to sort of rage out, and it's almost like they do it and then they throw their enemies at me and let me do the fighting for them, and which is disconcerting. It reminds me very much of a Manchurian Candidate, but on a psychic level. It's like they've trained me to be this psychic warrior of sorts, be it with just whatever type of energy or etheric weapon.
Well, the conspiracy theorist in me says that that's where that came from in the first place. Okay. There's a huge amount of overlap between Manchurian Candidate type scenarios that are real world and alien abduction type phenomena. So that's a very dead on accurate kind of analogy.
That's kind of where I'm putting it, and it's very much like it's a psychological experiment to them more than anything else. But it's I feel like I'm sucking in people's imprints as I walk by, but it feels like they're pulling them out of me, which is really disconcerting for me. It's like they're using me as a collection chamber type of thing, and then grabbing what they want and then ripping astral doubles or energetic copies and having whatever drive them around and do whatever they want. Because I keep on hearing from people that are claiming to be physical as well with telepathy. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, I'm talking to you, but something that looks like you is here right now. And so it's just all kinds of weird different scenarios like that. It sounds so nutty that it's almost not nuts. And I'm like totally grounded person. The story's kind of neat and interesting, but it's not like I'm wrapping my life around it or anything or living in some total fantasy world. This stuff is happening to me and I'm physically feeling it. And
let me ask you this, Whisper. How did this impact you physically in terms of your overall just physical health?
I do major clearing work and major stress management with meditation, and now a lot with the tools that Chris is showing you.
Okay. Prior to the time that Chris worked with you, were you getting suffering any physical side effects? Were you obviously having sleep problems?
Sleep problems, unable to work because they take so much of my mental time up. And they can do things like stun your brain and, you know, and keep their little scenarios running while